Hey, what's going on everybody? It's Joseph from ScreenBite, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Brydge 12.9 Mark II. So if you remember, a few months back when I started my iPad project, I took a look at a Brydge 9.5 for the 2018 iPad. And I was super sad because it was my favorite keyboard ever, and I couldn't use it on the 12.9-inch iPad Pro because they were sold out pretty much everywhere. Well, I reached out to Brydge and they were gracious enough to send me out the new edition of the 12.9-inch in space gray. Keep in mind though, all opinions are my own. So let's go ahead and take a look at this and one, see if it lives up to the original keyboard, and two, if it's worth your money. And here it is. So this is the Brydge 12.9 Mark II in space gray, which of course is my favorite color for Apple products. Now, I love this thing right off the bat because when you pick it up and hold it in your hand, it just screams quality at you. It's one piece of machined aluminum, and it definitely has some heft to it, but it's not so heavy that it's going to be unbearable. Now that's one thing I want you guys to keep in mind if you're looking to pick something like this up. One of the major things that people love about the iPad is just how portable it is. Now it is going to add a little bit of weight and it is going to add a little bit of bulk, but I feel like those are warranted trade-offs for what you get here. So let's take a look at the design itself. So you have the keyboard, of course, and this is pretty much a full-size layout due to the size of the iPad, so that's awesome. And there's really nothing on the bottom but these rubber stoppers, which work really well. As you can see, this isn't going anywhere. So before we put everything together, one of the things that I want to mention that is much improved are the hinges. So the hinge mechanism itself works exactly the same, but this interior piece is much improved. On the previous version that I had for the 9.5-inch iPad, I had a big issue putting it in and then adjusting it so that it was perfectly straight. That is no longer an issue here. So for example, you take the iPad, place it into the grips, and then you can just adjust it without a problem. And it's not so loose that it will just adjust itself, but it's just loose enough so where it's not gonna be a pain in the butt to get it in there correctly. Now we go ahead and close that up, and this is what I'm talking about. Like I said, it does add a little bit of thickness and it does add a little bit of weight, but I feel like for those who carry a notebook around already, it's not going to be that much of a difference, and it is still highly portable because you can now take this apart if you don't necessarily need the keyboard. And where this thing really shines is just that design. As you can see, it is perfectly color matched to the space gray iPad, which is definitely attention to detail that I truly love. And overall, when everything is put together, the hinge is good, so the hinge isn't gonna be super duper loose or fall apart. And it definitely has stability when it's up in laptop position. So from a design standpoint, I do have to say 10 out of 10. Now, one minor gripe that I do want to mention from a design standpoint though would be this. And that is that I really wish that this keyboard had some kind of maybe groove here on the bottom, just so it makes it easier to open it up like a laptop. As of right now, it's actually really hard to do that. So the only way that you really can open this is to kind of hold it down and then put your fingers between it and lift it. So if that was there, maybe in a future iteration, that would be nice, but not a huge complaint, just something that I noticed. So let's talk about some of the additional features that come with the keyboard that I really like. One, let's go ahead and get this all fired up here. And that is this top bar here. So it does come with dedicated media keys, which is awesome. You have a battery indicator, which by the way, the battery life is absolutely ridiculous. They're stating that it should last with the lights off 12 months. That is a year. And I really love that because that means this is one less thing that I need to worry about carrying a charger cable for. Now, I can't test that because of course that would require me to use this nonstop for a year, and I've only had it for about a week so far, but I can say I haven't had to charge it yet, and the battery indicator has not shown me the battery level going down, which is awesome. Of course, there's a power button to turn it off and on, and the Bluetooth key to connect. A couple of extra things that I really like here is you can push this button here if you want to go back to the on-screen keyboard. I don't know why you would want to do that, but it's cool that it's there. As well as you have brightness adjustments right on the keyboard, which is awesome. You have the back key, the backlighting button, which there's 3 steps of backlighting. The backlighting does actually time out after a little while, so if you do want to have the backlighting on, you don't have to worry about it completely draining your battery. Which, by the way, keep in mind, you need to have the backlighting off if you want to get that full year battery life. You do also get a lock button, which will lock your iPad for you. And my favorite button is right here. This is a dedicated home button. So one of the issues that I found with the other keyboards is that if you want to access the command center when it's locked in place like this, it can be a little difficult, let's be honest, because it's kind of in there. But if you double tap this, it actually brings up your command center for you, and from any app that you're in, you can push this button and it'll bring you back to your home screen. So a little bit of extra features that are built into this keyboard that I find make it really useful. The one extra button here is actually going to be the Siri button. If you push this button, it'll auto launch Siri for you, so you can do your voice searches without having to hold down anything on the iPad itself. All of your iPad controls are going to be right on the keyboard, which is nice. So how about the keyboard itself? This is a keyboard after all, right? I have to say, from my typing experience on it so far, I really like it. Now, I'm a huge mechanical keyboard person, so it's a little weird typing on chiclet style keys, but if you're coming from a laptop or a MacBook Pro, I feel like you're gonna be right at home here. So once again, this is a full-size layout due to the size of the 12.9-inch iPad Pro, and I'm right at home typing on this. I've actually found myself going like this every once in a while, like I'm on a laptop, which is kind of funny, which just kind of tells you just how much like a laptop this really feels. But when you're typing, it has a 1.5 millimeter travel distance, which is 1 millimeter shorter than on the previous version. Honestly, that's not something that you're really going to notice unless you know that it exists. But from a typing feel itself, it's really nice. So for example, hey, what's going on, everyone? It's so all those mistakes there were entirely me. Once again, like I said, I'm used to typing on mechanical keyboards, so the really short travel here is a little weird to me. But the actual typing experience is really nice, and I feel like once I start typing on this more and more, I'll get really used to it. And it is miles above using the on-screen keyboard for two reasons. One, you get a lot more real estate when you're typing on the iPad, and two, having an actual physical keyboard is always nice to type on. So that's one area where I feel like this is really improved over the previous versions, or just honestly any keyboard that's out there really, is the actual feel of typing on this keyboard. Really quickly, I'll give you a taste of what the actual keyboard sounds like. Alright, and lastly, let's talk about that price. Now, it's very pricey. It's $150, which honestly for a lot of people is going to be too much for just a Bluetooth keyboard for your iPad. However, for me, I genuinely think it's worth the price because I look at it as more as an investment. It's a high quality piece. It's going to last a very long time, probably the life of the iPad that I decide to keep it, and it's just the best of the best. Typing on it is amazing, the build quality is amazing, the design is amazing, and for me personally, that's why I feel like it's worth that price. However, for you, if you are just looking for a Bluetooth keyboard and you don't want to shell out that much money, there definitely are other options out there. This just so happens to be top of the top. But that's going to go ahead and do it for this video, guys, so thank you once again for watching. As always, if you liked it, make sure to show it by hitting that like button down below. Also, if you have any questions about what we talked about today, feel free to ask it in the comment section down below or on Twitter at ScreenBite. And if you're new to the channel and you like the content, feel free to subscribe. But until next time, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.